Hey guys, Shrink here. For all you Eagles fans that are feeling down about the season like I am, I'm going to show you how the Philadelphia Eagles, miserably, can finish the rest of the 2020 NFL regular season without a win in the remaining 7 games and still win a division and make the playoffs. So I'm only going to focus on the NFC East teams because obviously Philly, any team in the East, most likely, if they get in the playoffs, almost definitely, rather, are going to have to win the division to make the playoffs. So here we go. What needs to happen is all of the NFC East teams pretty much need to lose to all of their non-NFC East opponents. That's first and foremost. And the way the season's been going, that's really not that unlikely that the NFC East teams will lose their non-division games. So here we go. We have the Eagles losing to Cleveland, Eagles losing to the Seattle Seahawks, Eagles losing to Green Bay, come down to the Giants. They're off this week, but then they lose to Cincy, Seattle, Washington loses to Cincy. And this is the key here. Washington and Dallas tie on Thanksgiving. Dallas loses to Minnesota. Washington loses to Pittsburgh. Washington loses to Baltimore. Again, NFC East teams losing their non-NFC East games, which the way the season's been going isn't too unlikely. The Eagles lose to New Orleans. The Eagles lose to Arizona. At this point, I believe they've dropped 5 straight games from where they are now to 3-10-1. Anyway, the Giants lose to Arizona, Cleveland, and Baltimore. Washington loses to San Francisco, Seattle, Carolina. Dallas loses to Cincinnati, San Francisco. And here's the key, another key, is the Eagles have to tie Dallas. They cannot tie Washington and get in this way. They must tie Dallas. So here we go. Week 17. Eagles can lose then to Washington. Giants are going to, we'll say they'll lose to Dallas. Obviously, Washington will beat Philly, and Dallas beating the Giants. So then you get the check mark. The Eagles have won their division in this simulation, going 3-11-2. Now let's look at the rest of the division. Giants finish in last place at 3-13. Washington finishes in third place at 3-12-1. Dallas and the Eagles tied at 3-11-2, but the tiebreaker goes to the Eagles. They had already beaten Dallas earlier in the season. They'd have a 1-0-1 record against Dallas, and they'd win the division at 3-11-2. And now for a bonus, let's see, the Eagles here. I'm going to bring this bracket over. So we've got, boom. Here's a playoff bracket. Here, with this simulation, Eagles 3-11-2, they win their division. They get the 4th seed. They're going to host the Buccaneers. Now, here's how the Eagles get home field throughout the playoffs. Cardinals play the Saints. Cardinals win. They move on to play the Packers. The Rams play the Seahawks in Seattle. Seahawks lose. Rams move on. Buccaneers play the Eagles at home. Eagles win. Eagles then host the Rams, and if they win and the Cardinals beat the Packers, the Eagles would host the Cardinals in the NFC Championship game. If they win that, folks, the Eagles would make the Super Bowl with a 6-11-2 record. They would win just as many games in the playoffs as they had in the rest of the regular season. 3 games in the playoffs, 3 games in the regular season, go into the Super Bowl 6-11-2, and they could be the first team to win a Super Bowl with just 7 wins on the season, and that would have more wins for the Eagles coming in the playoffs than they had won in the regular season. Wild stuff. Wild stuff.